Too much pressure. Let's want to zoom out. At the last minute, it's okay. We could do this. Oh. I can't do it right now. I gotta get us up on Zoom.
Good morning, everyone. We would like to begin today's service with meditation, followed by an announcement. Please join me by placing your hands together and flash. Good morning again, everyone. My name is Megan, and thank you for joining us for today's Fall Ohigan service. We are honored to have Reverend Dean Koyama from the Palo Alto Buddhist Temple as our guest speaker today. We would also like to welcome Sensei's wife, Linda, who joined today's service. Higan, meaning other shore or nirvana or enlightenment as opposed to this shore, is observed during both the spring and fall equinox. This gathering is to praise the Buddha and to listen to the teachings. During these two times of the year, the days and the nights are of equal length, and the weather is neither too hot nor too cold. It is an opportunity for us to be aware of the harmony in nature and gives us an opportunity to devote ourselves to this harmony in our own lives. We will now continue with the chanting of Sambujo, which is called 3 Respectful Callings. It can be found on the inside cover of the service book. This will be followed by the aspiration of today's service by Reverend Shibata.
Occasion of the British Church of Scotland's annual observance of the Fall Ohigan, we are gathered together to adorn the shrine of the Buddha, burn incense, chant the sacred writings, and deepen our understanding of the Buddha Dharma. During both the spring and fall equinox, when the hours of day and night are equal, the sun symbolically rises in the east and sets in the west, towards the direction of the Clear Land. We gather to listen and meditate upon the teachings of the Buddha Dharma, as clarified and transmitted to us by Sri Ramachandra. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu.
Please rise, and this is comfortable for you for singing the Gaka When We See the Golden Sun. This Gaka can be found in the program or in the service book on page 227. This will be followed by the recitation of the three treasures, which is also in the program or on page 2 of the service book.
Hard is it to be born into human life? Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of a blessed one? Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us fervently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment
And awaken in ourselves your supreme will.
I take refuge in Dharma.
May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean.
I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become unison in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, free from the bondage of selfishness. We live in ages of myriads of kalpas. Hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
Namo Amida Butsu.
We will continue with the chanting of Jesus Day, which is on the back of this program. We're starting on page 95 in the service.
Oh, 菩萨，你是
We now have incense offering by the following representatives. From school student, Leah Rodriguez. From school teacher, Mike Shibata. From the club, Derek Yu. Young Buddhist Association, Andrew Kawaguchi. Young Adult Buddhist Association, Dr. Linda Kawaguchi. Athletic Organization, Jerry Laura. We have Dr. Alan Kawaguchi. Adult Buddhist Association, Dolores Matsumura. Oma Makai, Wayne Wadasaki. Stockton Greenfield Tyco, Lynn Matsumoto. Cortez Makai, Nikki Baba. Stockton Buddhist Friends Association, Sally Kamaka. Buddhist Church of Stockton, Debbie Nakari. Reverend Shibata will now introduce our guest speaker, Reverend Dean Koyama.
again, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this Fall Ohigan. And as Mimi had mentioned, usually it's during the fall and spring equinox when the days and nights are equal length, and of course, it's neither too hot nor too cold. But right now it's pretty hot, so I'm not sure what's going on with the weather, but I'm so glad that you're able to still join us. I'm here in the beautiful temple, especially as we welcome Reverend Dean Koyama again to the Buddhist Church of Stockton. And so Reverend Koyama might look familiar because I think maybe the last time since he was here was for one of our Holy Day services. And since he had emailed me after I had asked him to come for this service, and he said, I was looking over my records and Stockton happens to be the temple that I actually visit the most. So I think it's just an indication of how much we appreciate and enjoy his Dharma messages. So we're so happy that he's able to join us again. So if you recall Reverend Koyama, he's actually very vocal. He was born in Sacramento and he received his BS at UC Davis. Also went on to receive an MA, a master's degree from the Institute of Buddhist Studies, and also went to Japan to study at Ikoku University in Kyoto. And so his ordinations occurred receiving Tokudo in 1981, first level of ordination, and then his Kyoshi certification in 1988, and then his Kyoshi status in 1993. So some of the temples that Sensei has served is Seattle and Tacoma, which right now, actually, his nephew, Reverend Miguel Koyama, is serving at Tacoma. So there's a long line of history, family history at Tacoma too. And actually, my great-grandfather helped to establish Tacoma Temple, so it kind of connects all of us in some wonderful way. So currently, Sensei is serving at the Palo Alto Buddhist Temple. And I'm not sure if you know, my ministry started in the Bay District at the Berkeley Buddhist Temple. And Reverend Koyama has been such a great colleague and mentor and friend to me. So I just want to express my sincere appreciation for all of his support too as I started my ministry. And as it was mentioned earlier, his wife Linda is joining us today. There's Linda. Yay. Thank you, Linda, for joining us. They have the three sons, Justin and Curtis and Tommy. And are you empty nesters? Are they? You are? Okay. So this is like a new beginning for you too as empty nesters. And I believe Sensei also does Aikido as well.
Well, yeah.
Little bit. Okay. So has training in Aikido. But from personal experience, I was guest speaking in Palo Alto. And I know that he's a Warriors fan. Is Warriors? I think we were watching the Warriors game and eating pizza. I could care less about the game itself, but I was enjoying the pizza for sure. But how many other Warriors fans do we have? Okay, so quite a few reaching Stockton. Okay, so you have that in common with Reverend Koyama. So Reverend Koyama will be giving two messages today. This one first is for Dharma school students, and then we have the pleasure of hearing Reverend Koyama again for the adult message when the students are excused. So without further ado, Sensei, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Well, let's hope that that's very lucky today.
Good morning. Sorry about that. I'm having difficulty seeing anyway. So that's at the years ago in my right eye, but then I haven't had it done yet in my left eye in 6 years. So now I'm going to get that done soon, but in order to do that, I can't wear my contact lens for 2 weeks. So that's why I can't drive. So that's why my wife has to drive. And so if I do a good job today, please go up to her and say, oh, Cynthia did a good job. If I do a terrible job, please go up to her and introduce yourself and say, I still did a good job. Okay. So again, yeah, I can't, this is my first time trying to speak without being able to see fully. Like I said, I can't see out of the side surface, and I only see half of it. Okay, so once again, I'd like to thank Reverend Candace for the kind invitation to join me here for this Fall Ohigan service. The Fall Equinox refers to the time of year when the center of the sun crosses the Earth's equator. And this occurred today. This occurred today at 5:43 in the morning. Anybody up at that time? Oh, some of it, oh, good, okay. So during the equinox, the day and night are of equal length, and also associated with the equinox is our observance of Ohigan. Ohigan refers to the other shore of the Pure Land of Wisdom. And this is again, as it was explained earlier by our MC this morning, it's contrasted to this shore of the world of difficulties that we are living in. So the Pure Land is the Jodo of our Jodo Shinshu tradition. That's what Jodo Shinshu, it comes from the term Pure Land. It's sometimes talked about in the sense of the most beautiful, exquisite, and peaceful place of no suffering. And ideally, it's the most perfect environment where one can live with wisdom and compassion. And I think we could all agree that we would rather be in an environment of no suffering and difficulties. So the question becomes, how do I get from this shore to the other shore, or the Pure Land? And the standard answer usually is that we need to practice the 6 paramitas. The 6 paramitas are generosity, discipline, patience, endeavor, meditation. Ooh, I spelled that wrong. See, I can't see. And wisdom. So ordinarily, we may think that if we practice the 6 paramitas, we'll be able to arrive on the other shore of the Pure Land. But that is really not the case. Rather, we practice the 6 paramitas so that we can live that Pure Land way of life. So in other words, then, the Pure Land, or Ohigan, comes to us on this shore. So in a sense, this is a different way of thinking. And I think that this is the true purpose of Ohigan, as a reminder for us to look at things from a different perspective and to live our lives filled with the 6 paramitas. Ultimately, by practicing the 6 paramitas, we cultivate a life filled with not just wisdom, but one of compassion as well. And this is what I'd like to talk about today. What does compassion really mean? What does compassion really mean? So again, this is for the Dharma School kids, but adults, you can participate in this as well. All right. So I'd like to ask, who is this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you. Okay. Either one. Okay, good. All right, Mickey Mouse. All right. Everyone knows Mickey Mouse, right? Yeah, that's right, Mickey Mouse. Okay. Then Who's this? Who? SpongeBob. Okay, all right. SpongeBob. Okay, and next is, who's that? Dora. All right. Yeah, and now let's try this one. Lisa. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. How about this? Patrick. Yeah, Patrick. For some reason, I don't know. When I showed this to my Dharma school kids, I had thought that this this character was named Daniel, and so when I showed it to them, and then they all answered Patrick. I go, it's not Daniel, and they go, no, it's Patrick. And they, well, who's Daniel? And one of my Dharma school kids sitting in the front was me. Okay, one more. You might not know. Oh, who? Gumball, yeah. I don't know who this is. But when I asked my Dharma school kids who their favorite cartoon character was, she named Gumball too. So that's why I put Gumball in. And finally, do you know who this is? Hello Kitty, that's right. Yeah. Now, I didn't know much about Hello Kitty. As Reverend Candace mentioned, I only had boys. Well, my wife and I, we only had boys, 3 boys. But recently I learned that Hello Kitty was created in 1974. 1974. So that means she's 50 years old. Can you believe it? 50 years old. And she's still very, very popular, right? A few months ago, I went to a shopping mall, and I'm walking around, and I go back past the store, and it's dedicated to all Hello Kitty stuff. Right? So she's still very, very popular. But if you compare Hello Kitty with all these other characters, they all have something that Hello Kitty doesn't have. Do you know what that is? What is it that that all these other characters have but Hello Kitty doesn't have? A what? A voice? Yeah, I guess so. A television show? Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, is your name Frida? No. Thea. Thea. Okay. She doesn't have a what? Mouth. A mouth. Ding, 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 ding. Very, yeah, you're very, very good. She doesn't have a mouth, right? I never noticed it before either, right? Okay, like I said, I had all boys. So all of these other characters have mouths, right? And most of the time, the mouths are doing what? They're all smiling, right? They're all smiling. So whenever you look at these other characters, whenever you look at these, my mouse. But whenever you look at these other characters, they're all smiling. And so if you see them smiling, that kind of makes you feel what? Happy, right? Right. So, but what happens if you're not happy? Right? What happens if you're not happy? What if you're sad, right? Because you lost your favorite toy, or maybe you forgot to bring your iPhone or your iPad, or maybe if your pet or somebody you love died, or if you had a big fight with your best friend. Would you want to cuddle with one of these characters that has this big wide grin on their face when you feel so really sad? I don't think so, right? Hello Kitty has no mouth. Hello Kitty has no mouth. And a spokesperson for Sanrio, the maker of Hello Kitty, says that Hello Kitty is not normally given a mouth because without a mouth, it is easier for the person looking at Hello Kitty to project their feelings onto the character, and that the person can be happy or sad together with Hello Kitty. In other words, if you're happy and you look at Hello Kitty, Hello Kitty looks happy. If you're sad and look at Hello Kitty, then Hello Kitty looks sad. Hello Kitty is then mirroring the same emotion as you are. In other words, Hello Kitty is feeling the same feeling as you. And that is exactly what the word compassion means. You can say then that Hello Kitty is practicing compassion. The Chinese expression for compassion is ji, the Japanese word for compassion. The Japanese Buddhist word for compassion is ji. Ji, the ji in ji means to give the strongest encouragement or give hope or happiness. The he is karuna. This is where you can also find a similar face that is behind a similar face. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Right. The photo of our statue of Amida Buddha in our altar in Palo Alto. Just like what we have here, right? Just like we have here. Or if you really want to get a closer look at the statue of Buddha, you can go into your notebooks to go over here, right? Back in 2014, about 10 years ago, just about 10 years ago, at Palo Alto Buddhist Temple, we celebrated our 100th anniversary of the temple. And to help celebrate and make it a momentous occasion, we decided to enshrine a statue of Amida Buddha into our altar. Before, we only had a scroll that had the picture of Amida Buddha. So we decided that we would get a statue, okay, for Amida Buddha. Now, for something like that, you can't just, go to Home Depot or look at Amazon.com, for a statue. Wait a minute. I think you can. But we had to order it from Japan. And then the statue had to be carved by hand, by a craftsman. So when I first contacted the craftsman who was going to sculpt the statue of Amida Buddha for us, he asked a very interesting question. I thought it was an interesting question. And he asked me, what kind of face do you want on the Buddha? What kind of face do you want on the Buddha? And I thought, well, don't all Buddhas have the same face? And then I thought about it more. Well, if he's going to customize it, and he's asking me what kind of face he should put on the Buddha, I said, well, maybe you can make it look like me. But my wife tells me that wouldn't be so good because people would be afraid of it. So in our larger sutra, there's a very famous expression. It goes Wagen Aigo, which means to have a peaceful or harmonious countenance or facial expression and speak in loving terms. This refers to the look and behavior of the Bodhisattva Dharmakara, who became the Amida Buddha upon attaining enlightenment. Doesn't he look like me? In a lot of ways, I think the face of the Buddha is a lot like Hello Kitty. They both reflect how you feel. So hopefully too, if you feel happy when you look at the Buddha looks happy. If you're sad when you come before the image of the Buddha, You will also feel that the Buddha is also sad and understands your difficulties, and therefore knows that you're not alone. In other words, the Buddha is able to accept you just as you are. What I think is important for us to remember is that each one of us is unique. We're all individuals. We do not all think alike. We do not all like the same food, and we do not all like the Golden State Warriors or the San Francisco Giants. I saw somebody with the Dodgers jersey. Oh, that's terrible. Although I have to say, Otani is great. We come from a variety of backgrounds and have a wide variety of experiences. We're all unique and different, and it's important to recognize and accept and it's important for all of us to recognize, accept, and respect the differences of others. That is the practice of doing good in Buddhism. It is the practice of compassion. Through the compassion and wisdom found in the primal vow of Amita Buddha, Shakyamuni teaches us that what is most important is how we treat each other. Even though we may differ from others, it's still important to treat each other with respect and kindness. We are all human beings who hurt the same way. If we get a cut, we all bleed. If we lose a loved one, we're sad. And we all want to be able to live in peace and prosperity. It's important to realize that just as we are also being embraced within the kindness and compassion of others as well. The heart of the primal vow is Namo Amida Butsu. It is a reminder for us to realize that our lives are in reality filled with kindness and compassion, and in turn, we should then extend that wisdom, kindness, and compassion to others as well. This is the message and practice that I think we should try to remember and do during the time of Ohigan, so that we ultimately too can cross over to the other shore of Amida. Please join me in compassion. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you so much, Reverend, for your wonderful children's message about compassion. Please stand if this is comfortable for you for the recitation of our pledge, followed by Namaste. This can be found on the back cover of the service.
Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
And we have some announcements. The first announcement that I had is regarding mochi. Please join the Buddhist Church of Stockton on November 17, 2024 for their annual mochi making event. Order forms will be going out in the October and November karma, or can be picked up in the temple office or lobby. Volunteers will be needed to help make mochi. Please come out and help and bring your families and friends to keep this Japanese tradition alive. Lunch will be provided for those at 805-315-5069 to volunteer. Start time is 6:30 a.m. for rice. SBWA rummage sale, November 2. Drop-off dates are September 22nd and October 6th and 20. First online fundraiser on September 25th is 9. Celebrating Women of the BCA on September 28th. You can join in person at the Jodo Shinshu Center or online. See the Karma for more details. The bento box order form attached to the Northern California District will be selected here in Stockton on October 13th. This will be in conjunction with our late Bishop's Memorial and 8-10 service. Save the date to join us for the special service and luncheon. For this name, please contact Reverend Shibata as soon as possible. Please RSVP via link sent by Reverend Shibata or contact the temple. Zoom, September 25th at 6:30 p.m. I also have an announcement from Debbie.
Thank you, Megan. Just two things. First, remind everybody that we're hosting our first introduction to pickleball, a clinic next Saturday. From start at 10 o'clock or 10 to 1 over in the gym. We have a few Taekwondo members who play a lot of pickleball, and they volunteer to lead the clinic and teach everybody how to play, the rules, safety, drawing. So anyway, come out and support the church and learn about this really fast-growing sport. You don't have to be old. You can be young. We do have to put that, that's the vendors and their contacts in the pickleball world. So we have paddles, we have things that you can come out and use. So please come out and join us. And even if you don't want to play and you're kind of interested, you can come out and watch and just show your support that way. The second thing is I hope everybody plans to stay for today's burger and fries social. The way that this got started was a comment that I had made to Ruby that I come for special services, and sometimes half of the special services are potlucks, but the other ones, we come in, we have people coming in sometimes out of town or who normally wouldn't come to the regular Dharma school service. It's time to go home. And then everybody was in the town. So I said it would be nice if we could do coffee or refreshments after the non-potluck special services. So we're going to start that, but we're going to kick it off with a burger and fries social, which is today. So please join us. I need to thank Sachi and Brian and Kita for kind of putting it all together, and Ruby for organizing it for me. And I hope it'll be fun. I have a lot of other ideas, so be ready, be prepared for other fun things after our special services. So anyway, please join us for burgers and fries afterwards. Okay, thank you.
Some of the other activities this week. Tomorrow night is Stop and Control typos having a class from 5:30. Thursday, Communified Crafts is meeting from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also, regarding the joints service celebration on October 13th, there's a sign-up sheet in the lobby, and also there's a sign-up sheet in the chapel. Michael will also teach students after services. In October, it will be October 20th, but this will be after class. And then other dates for the Michael class for high school students and our parents, as always, will be determined.
Again, regarding the service, for the 13th, for those of you who are receiving your Buddhist name and you haven't turned in your forms yet, the due date is actually the 20th. So, we can actually get together at the reception if you like, if you want help with your forms, selecting your kanji for your Buddhist name. And then if you have your payment, I'll be happy to take that so that we can give it to Reverend, Parada or send it over as a group. So if you haven't already sent your form in, go ahead and meet with me if you have a little bit of time during the social, and then we can get that all ready for you, okay? So please see me after the service. Thank you. So maybe for those of you who haven't received your Buddhist name and are on the fence, and if you still want to do that, come to our little group too, okay? Okay, thanks so much.
Does anyone else have any other announcements? So this will now conclude the first portion of our service. We would like to thank everyone for your attendance and Reverend Koyama for his Dharma School message. At this time, Dharma School students up to middle school are dismissed to their classes. Please come forward to offer incense if you have not done so already. Reverend Koyama will then deliver the adult Dharma message.
So we'll get situated. Okay. Okay. I don't think I can handle like another technical difficulty. It's been one of those things. I'm so grateful that we have another presentation up and ready. And that you're okay. So again, we're so honored to have Reverend Koyama give the adult message for today. So I know it's getting a little bit warm, so we'll just get right into it.
Okay, let's start with show. Beings with extreme and karma. Just say that this is good. Although I too am embraced within my deepest grasp, passions obstruct my eyes, and I cannot see the light of compassion. Nevertheless, the light of compassion continues to always shine upon me entirely. Come on, brothers. Good morning once again, everyone. It is very, very nice to be here to share some of my thoughts that I feel during our fall. As I mentioned earlier during the Dharma message, I think the importance of Ohigan is to remember to look at life through different perspectives. And so, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I've been thinking a lot about this because I mentioned earlier that I'm going to have cataract surgery done, and so I'm having difficulty seeing things right now. And I don't know about you, but I get very nervous when I have to go to the eye doctor. I'm afraid of making a mistake, you know, when they ask me to read the eye chart, right? But that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point. If you make a mistake, it's because you can't see correctly, right? So, according to the laws of physics and human anatomy, as I studied it some 40, 50 years ago, when we're looking at an object, the light rays from that object are actually inverted when it passes through the lenses of our eyes. For example, when we look at a tree, the rays of light enter our eyes, and then the light rays are inverted. And so it causes that image to be upside down. But the brain then interprets those rays of light and flip-flops it so that it comes back as being right side up. You see it as right side up. Interestingly, an experiment was done where people were given upside down glasses to wear. These glasses would take the rays of light, inverting the image before it would go through the lens. Right side up. But again, the brain takes that image and then flip-flops it so that we would be seeing the tree upside down. That's how upside down glasses work. Makes sense, right? But interestingly, you know, after doing it, if you were to wear those upside down glasses, you know, for several days, eventually, the brain reinterprets that image and causes it in our mind to see it once again as right side up, the way that it should be. So then after they did that experiment, right, then they asked these subjects who are wearing the upside down glasses to remove the glasses. So by removing the glasses, then that eliminated that second inversion. or that first determinant, I guess you could say. And so what we would see then would be that the tree, after it passes through the lens in the eye, that image would be upside down. And again, remember the brain is trained to take that image and flip-flop it. So instead of seeing that it's upside down, it really saw that it was right side up. But again, the brain flip-flops it, and so that we're looking at this tree as being, I did it too fast, it's supposed to be upside down. But again, after several days, then the brain is training and it turns it to right side up, even though, yeah, the way that it should be. That make any sense? Probably not, right? But the reason why I brought this out is that, to me, this experiment shows that the brain is able to adjust the data and interprets it accordingly. So, are we really seeing things just as they are? Or is our brain interpreting what we see? And if our brain automatically adjusts to the influence of things like upside down glasses, surely our brain can be influenced by our own conditions, our own bias, or our own beliefs. So we may all be looking at the same thing, but perhaps some of us see things differently. Okay? For example, what do you see here?
Face.
A face. How many see flowers? See, we're looking at the same thing, but we see things differently. How about here? What do you see here? Rabbit. How many see rabbit? How many do you see duck? There's more people that see duck, right? There's a duck, a rabbit. Okay, how about this one? What do you see here? Batman. But there's also penguin. Right? So how can, how we see things can be influenced, or the things that we, when we look at things, it can be influenced also by the power of suggestion. For example, here's an image that I would like for you to look at, to study. What is this? Statue of a Buddha or a Bodhisattva. Very famous statue of Bodhisattva Maitreya in Yoga. Now, if I show you this, what do you see? See a face? Some people say they see a face, some people say they see a liar. Over the summer, I'm sure you saw this emblem. It's the emblem for the Paris Olympic Games. When I first saw the emblem, I saw the flame. I saw the Olympic torch flame, right? You can see the Olympic torch flame. But as I looked at it, as I looked at it a little bit more, I began to see a woman. Right? There's an old adage, right? Seeing is believing. We have to see it with our own eyes to believe it's true, right? But Buddhism is not about believing. Buddhism is based upon wisdom, knowing, and experience. It's a religion of awareness. And part of it is to become you see here? The glass of water, right? Glass of water. Is it full, half full, or half empty? Half full. How many half full? How many half empty? So if you say that, it's half full, you're considered to be an optimist. One who looks positively at things. If you say that the glass is half empty, then you're considered to be a realist, which is a politically correct way of saying pessimist, or one who sees things in a negative way. And this power of negativity can be very influential. I also used this talk to talk to the Dharma school kids, and I was debating about whether to do this or not with all of you, but might as well. Okay. So there's a story about these frogs, these racing frogs, and so the idea of the event was to climb to the top of the Eiffel Tower, since we're talking about Paris Olympics. The race was to climb to the top of the Eiffel Tower. And so a big crowd gathered around the tower to see the race and to cheer on all the young frogs. And the race began. But no one in the crowd really believed that any of the tiny frogs would be able to climb all the way up to the top of the tower. So instead of cheering and encouraging them on, they shouted, "Oh, it's way too difficult. You'll never make it. Not a chance. The tower is just too high." Right? And at first, there was a rush of all the young frogs climbing very fast, steadily and deliberately. Some tried a strategy of starting out very fast. Some tried to stay within the pack and they're going to make the move at the end. Right? But the crowd continued to yell at the frogs, that it's too difficult, you won't make it, might as well just go ahead and give up, right? And so more of the tiny frogs started to get tired, and they did give up. But one continued higher and higher and higher, and this one wouldn't give up. With sheer grit and determination, despite all the odds and negativity, amazingly, she reached the top. And she was not only the champion, but she also broke the first world record for a frog to climb to the top of the Eiffel Tower. So everyone wanted to know how this one frog managed to accomplish this great achievement. And so one reporter went up to the frog and asked, "What was your secret? How did you manage to make it to the top when all the other frogs gave up? How did you continue to climb while everyone else was yelling that you'll never make it, it's too high?" And the frog looked at the reporter and said, "Huh? Can you repeat the question? I'm deaf. I can't hear." So now I have to truly apologize. I must apologize to those who do have a hearing impairment, as I truly do not mean to offend. I needed to say that because we just had a session on that at our minister's summer study seminar. And there was a session on sensitivity. But by no means am I trying to make fun of people that have difficulty hearing. But the point of this story, of course, is that, perhaps sometimes it's better not to listen to negative comments, because with this frog, because the frog was not able to hear those negative comments, it didn't affect her. It didn't affect her. And so that frog was able to complete the climb. So, do you know of any negative people in your life? My wife does. My wife does. She calls me a grump. But there's sadness, right? This is one of the characters from Inside Out. This is my favorite negative. character, your, right? What motivates us to be negative rather than positive? What motivates us to be negative rather than positive? And I think very simply that the main cause of being negative is our ego. When things don't go our way, we complain, we grumble, we moan. But when things do go our way, we're happy and positive, right? However, I think there is a deeper sense of being positive, not just about it, going our way, not just because it suits us. There is another way of living positively. Shinran, and I think you can look to Shinran as giving us an answer to that, giving us a deep, a deeper explanation of being able to be positive. Shinran was trying to have us move and live from the point of Shinji. Shinji is the deep awareness of our own self-limitations, our own faults and frailties. It is also the deep awareness of how strong our self-centeredness is. If we just stop here at this level of understanding, we could be saying then that Buddhism is very negative. It's a negative religion, right? Very pessimistic religion. But Shinran's awareness took it to the next level of understanding. And that is to understand or have the deep awareness that as such, a person who is limited and full of ego-centeredness, we still receive the benefit of the wisdom and compassion that surrounds us just as we are. And with that awareness, we are then able to live a richer and deeper life of gratitude, a life of positivity. A couple of weeks ago, Linda and I, my wife and I, we took a quick 4-day, 3-night vacation to Washington, D.C. We both had never been there, so this is our first time. And we had an early 6:30 a.m. flight out. And so, I thought we had to pack, of course, the night before, and I thought I would be clever and organized. Because we had such an early flight out, we needed to be organized, we needed to be able to leave quickly in case we woke up late, right? And so I thought, okay, I'm going to be really organized. And like I mentioned before, I'm not supposed to wear my contact lenses 2 weeks before they take the measurement. That started this last Wednesday. But even before then, I started to take out my contact lens just to try to get used to not being able to see out of my good eye, periods of time. And so I thought, well, okay, on this trip, I'm going to be in the airplane most of the day. I don't need to see. So I don't need to wear my contact lens on the plane. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to pack it, and I put the contact lens cleaning solution, the rain solution, and my contact lens case in a plastic bag. Right? And that morning, when it was time to leave, I grabbed that bag, put it in my backpack, and I thought, okay, I'll put my contact lens on when we arrive at the airport in Washington, D.C. So we traveled the whole day, I got my lens and everything. We got to Washington, D.C., we got off the plane, I grabbed my backpack, went into the bathroom to put my contact lens on, got out my solution, put it on by the sink and everything, opened up my case. I packed the wrong contact lens case. It was empty. I didn't have my contact lens, And so I'm thinking, oh no. My heart fell, what I'd have to go through the whole trip, going to all these monuments and going to all the different museums without being able to see anything clearly. So when I stepped out of the bathroom, to be joined, who was waiting for me out on the corridor. She could tell that there was something wrong. I was feeling so depressed that I wouldn't be able to enjoy our trip. I would miss out on all the spectacular monuments and amazing museums. So, I'm going to like this, going to baggage claim. And then Linda, my wife, comes up with the idea, well, maybe someone could send the contact lens overnight. Yeah. Our son was watching our dog, and staying at our house while we were away. So I called him up. It was still like 3 o'clock West Coast, like 3 o'clock. And I said, hey, Justin, can you go to the FedEx office and overnight my contact lens case to me? And to make the long story short, my lens was waiting for me at the hotel the next morning. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. So here I was trying to be clever, organized, and prepared. But because of my limitations and faults and not being more careful, I packed the wrong contact lens case. And yet, even with my foolishness, or perhaps because of my foolishness, my son was able to send me the lens overnight. I was embraced by the compassion of my son, dropping all the things he needed to do while he was at work, to get my contact lens to the FedEx office. I have to be grateful that the FedEx office was still open, that there were trucks to take my lens from the office to the airport. I was grateful that there was a plane to carry my lens across the country, and someone on the East Coast to carry my lens to the hotel. How can I not be moved by all the things that needed to happen so that I could see and enjoy my time in DC? Perhaps that is what Shinan meant by being moved and living in Shinan. Without a doubt, our lives can be filled with negativity. This is the very first of the Buddha's Four Noble Truths. But again, the Buddha did not just stop there and say, oh, woe is me. Life is filled with difficulty, suffering, and negativity. The Buddha went on to explain that there are causes and reasons for those difficulties. Oftentimes, they are due to our ego or self-centeredness. We want and claim for things to be a certain way. We want more than perhaps we are capable of. We're not satisfied with how things are, but we do not see the whole picture. We only see things from a very limited view of how things affect only we. However, if we're able to become aware of that reality, the reality that we may be mistaken, the reality that we may be limited, the reality that we are suffering, the reality that we may be denying the truth of impermanence, change, and interdependence, then our lives can be transformed into one that extends kindness, compassion, support, and love to others. That is moving from the point of truth. That way, our lives, while acknowledging the sadness and or negativity in our lives, can then be transformed into one of positivity and joy. And isn't that the kind of person that we should all want to become as well? Isn't that becoming Buddha? And this in turn may help us to also someday live and move from the heart of human. So thinking half full and positive thoughts and not short. Please join me as we read Shinan. is near. Although I too am embraced within Anita's grasp, passion has struck my eyes, and I cannot see the light of compassion. Nevertheless, the light of compassion continues to always shine upon me entirely. I'm on the Once again, thank you all for the kind invitation.
Thank you again, Reverend Kuyama, for your wonderful message. And I definitely need to up my PowerPoint game. Like, I'm so impressed by how you did your PowerPoint presentation, and it just brought everything together. Such a wonderful message for this Fall Ohigan. And a great message too. I know I was complaining about how hard it was, but shouldn't we just be so grateful to be able to have Reverend Kuyama and his wife Linda join us, so that we can be able to hear and receive the Dharma. Despite any type of weather condition. So thank you, Sensei, for your lovely message. That concludes today's service. And again, thanks so much, everybody, for joining and spending your afternoon with us. And please join us in, I believe we're going to be in the air-conditioned mini chapel to enjoy lunch together. So please stay for that. Thank you to my AV team. I know we had a little bit of difficulties, but they always pull through. So thank you so much for your assistance. And have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Okay. And please come forward if you haven't been able to offer incense, and then you can especially feed from a